Good afternoon, my people. Good afternoon. Good day. Peace and blessings to you and yours. We're here again, reviewing the Lapeef Network. I wish I was on the panel to give my point of view, and that's basically what I'm doing right now. I'm giving my point of view on different conversations because I feel like where people do miss things, and it's possible. I haven't watched this video right now, but I would like to watch it and give you a straight up and down live response based upon my mentality. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it.
What you have to understand about this country, though, this country is a melting pot of everybody.
No, we're specific.
It's a melting
That's
pot of everybody.
That's a fact. It's not. I mean, like that's a fact. America is a melting pot for everybody because the highest opportunities is here. So everybody comes here for opportunities.
think we are people, and that's.
I never said that. What are you talking about? I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth.
You sound like you just tethered yourself on, came on, agreed with this goofy Frank Zanu, and thought it was okay to discuss us in any capacity. I'm not.
Okay, you're mostly, if somebody talking about you, you almost what. So what's up, right? So what's up? If somebody's speaking about you, what you willing to do? What you willing to do? And that is a cultural identifier. That is a cultural identifier that's already been written down. You already been studied, and people already know how you gonna react when somebody talking about you. It was written. It was already written. They know you're gonna react like that because that is a culture indicator. Yeah, automatically. You hear somebody talking about you in the back of you. Oh, you talk about me? oh, what's up? What's up? You ready to get violent? Or you ready to spark violence?
I'm not going to Jamaica to discuss y'all. I'm not going to Africa to any of the countries to discuss
That's
them.
fair. You don't have to.
Stand with my people.
You don't have to.
If you find yourself
heavy is the head. I keep on telling people heavy is the head that wears the crown. Yeah, you are African American, bro. Understand that you and it's like you don't feel like you have the responsibility, or you don't want to take responsibility for being part of the first world power, being part of the superpower. Because you know what, a lot of people tell you that you're less than, but really you're really on top of things, man.
Amongst another group of people, I suggest you move respectfully. In the future, I don't think people gonna be taking that kindly, bro. It's bullshit.
No, you're just too emotional. Calm down. It's
just-
not that.
It's conscious, not emotional.
I do think, though, a lot of the context is being lost from Zanu, and I guess his intent. I hear the brother here saying that he believes that he was rage baiting. I don't think that. I think he was just having he was critically thinking. He has an opinion. He was on a panel with about 4 or 5 other brothers, and they had a hard time articulating themselves to some of the questions. I think he brought up some very good questions, and I think we have to be careful not to put ourselves in any type of echo chamber, right? Because we can't grow that way. I think a lot of times when we have these conversations, they're very sensitive. People get triggered emotionally,
and a lot of things is you can't be hypocritical, bro. You can't tell women they can't do it and then act like women. You can't shame, insult, and guilt, right? Like Kevin Samuels. It really goes back to that. You can't. The reason Kevin Samuels always made it clear, like, yo, listen, women are the problem with women. They want to shame. If they can't defend their point, they want to shame. They want to throw around insults and stuff like that. But automatically, when you can't defend your point and you can't define it, that's exactly you start acting like a woman. Period. Watch what happens.
Their ego gets involved and they're unable to kind of hear what's actually being asked. Me personally, after listening to what he said, I don't agree with his definition of culture and how he defined it. At the same time,
I think that's where me and Nate a real critical thing can do. But I think his culture, his definition of culture is not is his definition of culture is not based upon just him being African. His definition of culture is actually coming from an African American. Thomas Sowell. I think really that's the world. What's left out of this conversation is Thomas Sowell and how Thomas Sowell, W.E.B. Du Bois, their definition of culture has been left out. If we define it by that, then it makes complete sense what they're saying. What Frank Zeno is saying, what Frank is saying, and what W.E.B. Du Bois is saying, what Thomas Sowell is saying, it makes complete sense.
Again, when you hear everybody on the panel and everyone's trying,
I would say reference black rednecks, white liberals,
to really define what Black culture is. It's not that Black Americans don't contribute or they're not trendsetters or that the culture isn't copied and, or some people say cosplay or mimicked or shared amongst the world. It is. The issue isn't even that. From what I see, the problem is that there's no control over the culture, right? When you don't have control over your image, you don't have control over how things are put out, how things are interpreted. That's really the issue.
I disagree. Because nobody can really control how you act. You control yourself. Self. You know what I mean? Self is it. On that part, I disagree. But I understand what you're saying at the same time, Nate. Yeah, we don't own image and likeness. African Americans don't own image and likeness. So the worldview that's being put out is being put out by somebody who is not really the image and likeness is being put out by somebody who is not that. They sell it. It's like a product. Like I keep going back to it. It's a product that's being sold. The African American experience is a product that's being sold, right? You think you live in it, but you don't own it and you don't sell it.
Right? The culture is pimped, right?
Period.
And so if the culture is pimped, the question is, who's the pimp and who's the hose, right? And I think that's why there's so much confusion.
Exactly, right. Who's the pimp and who's the hose to a certain extent, right? I understand it in a certain sense that we're looking at it as a product, right? Yes. And then going back to what Truth Table was saying as far as monopolization of who owns it. Yes, but we're not talking about who owns it, right? We're talking about our culture, who we are, regardless of who owns it, who we are. You know what I mean? And who we are, right, as African Americans is something else. That's what Thomas Sowell is saying. Regardless who owns it, who controls it, who sells it, we are not our own culture. We're not who we are. I mean, we're not who, we're not slavery wiped out who y'all are as Black people. I look at those people, Trash Smooth, Kiana, DJ Hamp, Bohemian, and White. We all different cultures. We not a monolith. We're all different Black people. Different culture, like he said in it, he said you could walk 9 miles down the road and it'll be a completely different thing. In Africa, you could walk 9 miles down this road and it'll be a different culture, different language, how we do things, how we that diverse. which America does represent the diversity, but it's like, yo, we not all, just because we black, we not all the same. Pretty much, we're not a monolith.
Fusion. His opinion is his opinion, right? Like I think, like anything, we're all entitled to it. Then challenge, right? Then all you need to do is have your rebuttal explain. I think someone said it earlier. If someone, I think it was Lucky, shout out to Lucky, she made a statement and said, hey, if there's some confusion as to what our culture is, this is not the first time this has been going on. There's a reason why people say it. I think people aren't really articulating what they're actually seeing or what they're not seeing. From I remember having this conversation before.
And which is true, like, yo, because you know what? Well, we you saying we all the same, but nobody's shouting out their neighborhood. Nobody's shouting out the region of the America that you from. Cause I'm telling you, by neighborhood, region, family is different, bro. My family don't do it how your family do things. Like my family didn't raise me the way. Maybe we have a lot of similarities. We have a lot of similarities because we're American. So we do things American way. We get married the same way. We graduate school the same way. We celebrate birthday the same way, right? But even if you go into different regions, like I'm from the South, oh, you're from the South, I'm from the North. It's different. It's different. You from the South, I'm from the North. I'm from New York, you from Texas. Different cultures. And it would be a lie to say that because you from Texas and we from New York, we operate the same way. Period.
In the past, and again, what I've noticed is just the lack of control, right? When you don't have control of your image, you don't have control, you don't have power over the media on how your culture is actually presented on a world stage. That's a problem. It's a huge problem. There's a portion of us as Black people who are responsible for that, and there's a portion of that's responsible of white people or people who are in control of some of these systems. At the same time, it doesn't mean that we can't fix these things either. It just means that we've relinquished so much of our power and things like that over to another group.
I can't disagree with you because on that note, you know, that was a major thing that was addressed by Kanye. That's a major thing that Kanye's whole point was like, nigga, we don't our likeness, right? Or even let's say I'm a Tedder, right? I'm not African American. You don't control your likeness and image. You don't. You don't sell it. I got to go to somebody else who's not even of your culture, of your likeness, of your image to buy it. Period.
You know, we can get into why that is or how that came about or why we're not changing that. But from what I understand, that's what I see. I think Zanu's, one of the things that he brought up that I agree with is worldview. And I think that goes for anybody, right? And I think that we define culture, but worldview is a separate thing. His opinion, he believes that a culture can't exist without a worldview. I don't agree with that. I think if you don't,
it's not his opinion though. That's the whole thing.
Like what you see in a culture, it doesn't mean that the culture doesn't exist. I feel like that.
No, that's what he's saying. That's no, it's not to say he like. That's why he's not trying to provide or he's not trying to change anything. He's just acknowledging what it is. And which stands corrected is African Americans don't have a culture. They've embraced somebody else's culture. Right? Because as you, like I said, y'all individuals, y'all not all the same. All y'all from individual tribes, and as individuals, you have individual cultures. But it once you became African American, all that has been removed, and you embrace somebody else. That's the main point of the topic of the conversation. You've removed your culture. You saying that your history starts as slavery, but it does not start as slavery. Your culture does not start as slavery.
That's where his argument is flawed. He could say, I don't like these attributes of Black American culture. Well, that's his opinion. That doesn't mean that the culture doesn't exist because you don't like certain elements of the culture.
No, he never said if he liked it or if he loved it. It's not about that. He's saying that you, Nathan Daly, are from a tribe, right? And your tribe has a specific culture that was removed from you because you are a descendant. I can look in your face and say you are a descendant, right? And you saying like, oh, I'm not from a tribe. I'm not from a culture. That's what it is. So it's not to say it's not about like. It's not about self-esteem. It's not about who likes you, who don't like you. It's not about that. It's about your lineage does not begin as slavery. Your culture does not begin as slavery. I think that's the point that's being missed right here.
But Black American culture is very rich. It's very rich. I would say that it's a subculture of American culture, right? The culture broke away because of the racism, systemic racism, and oppressive tactics of white people during the.
No, simply because of slavery. Simply, W.E.B. Du Bois says it. The problem with slavery is they wiped away the culture of Black people. They enslaved Black people, brought them here, and broke them and removed their culture. Things we didn't do. We're doing it. That's not in our culture. That's not even in our. You can't be sustainable. It's not sustainable. The things that we do is not us as Black people, as melanated people, to the Ecuadorian people by the equator. As Sun people, you move a group of people and put them from the sun. Like I live in the north. I'm not a northern nigga. I'm not a fucking wintertime nigga. I'm supposed to be all season supposed to be in the sun. I think that's the point that's being missed. Like I'm a sun nigga. I'm not a fucking winter nigga. It's not an insult. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just telling you, you're not winter people. Like the Black people, melanated skin, sun. You're not fucking winter people. I don't understand. That's the point. That I think that's the point. It's like, yo, you're not that. And then once you live under the sun, it's a different way of going about life. It's a different way to go about eating. It's a different way about going about growing crops. What you eat from the ground, water. Yeah, but if you put a sun nigga like me in the winter, in the wilderness of North America, the wilderness, if you put a sun person like myself in the motherfucking caves, it's not, you know what I mean? That's what it really is.
The time is why Black culture segued away from American culture, but it is a subculture in America. So Black culture is American culture is Black culture. But though, to me personally, that's like a deeper layer to the conversation. I think that I haven't heard you guys really bring up. I just heard a lot of people being offended by certain things and not really diving into the nuance of the conversation. It's not shallow. I think what Zanu was talking about is something he's talking to a different layer. He's speaking to a different layer. I think the way he may have articulated it,
it's critical thinking. Like, yo, everybody's offended based upon how you say the truth. Like, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying this to be viral or nothing like that. I'm just saying that the message is not even coming from the context of the message. It's not even Frank. He quoted to start the whole conversation off with a foundational Black Americans quote. Right? W.E.B. Du Bois. He started the conversation based upon that. It's crazy.
didn't come off well, but if you listen to the interview in context, you'll start to understand him. For me, I understood what he was trying to say. I don't think he articulated it the best way, because he believes that, I'm gonna tell you what I believe, but because he believes that a worldview is missing, that means that there cannot be a culture. My interpretation is, if a worldview is missing from a culture group, you have a difficult time defining and maintaining the discipline of what the culture is through forms of being consistent, right? Like, the consistency is the issue. So when there's a lack of consistency and it's not replicated across homes, if I line up 10 Black homes across the street and 10 Asian homes across the other, or Chinese or Japanese, 90% of them are going to follow the same trajectory. They're going to do the same things. They're going to practice the same things. They're going to talk the same way. They're going to have the same purpose, the same drive. It's going to be very consistent, and it's going to be.
No, I'm sorry about that, but you're wrong. If you line up 10 Chinese people, right? They come from tribes as well. So they will be like Koreans. All right. China has different, Korea, Taiwan, I don't know, Honduras. Asian people, they different. They have different cultures. Not just because they Asian, that everybody in Asia is the same. That's the whole point of it. Everybody in Asia is not the same, bro. Everybody in Europe is not the same. Period. Everybody in Africa, America is not the same. You have different cultures, right? You do have different, if you break it down to the subset, you do have different cultures, but predominantly urban culture, which is not a culture, which is not your culture. That's the whole point of the matter. Black people are not all the same. Period.
Replicatable, right? So even if I have 10 houses here that are Asian, 10 houses over here across the street that are Black American.
Black people are not the same, and when come to America is been wiped away. Come to America wiped away the differences, to wipe away the fact that Black people are not the same. Black people are not the same. Look at the people on this panel. You can look in their face and you say, like, oh, y'all all from different. Not because we all Black. We're all from different things.
Whether it's in Texas, California, New York, right? You always got to put that 10%, those people who are going to be off to the side. But for the most part, their culture is going to be consistent. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I know Sweeney had put his hand up, and I think Marcus had wanted to respond. If y'all could condense it and we get OG in, y'all can get a little bit of a.
I'm gonna ask my question after Marcus.
Okay, Marcus.
Nathan, you're from an African country, right? Your people are
Irrelevant.
from African country.
Irrelevant. But go ahead.
You said, are my people from an African country?
Irrelevant. Irrelevant, but go ahead. Ask your irrelevant question. And I don't mean to be biased about the brother and white, but it is a relevant question.
Yeah, like, do you have an immigrant story at all?
Like,
in your background?
Do I have? No, both my parents are Jamaican.
Okay.
We all immigrants. Unless you are not from sub-Saharan African, right? Unless you're not black. Let's say, oh, maybe you're a Cherokee Indian. Maybe you're a Moor. Or maybe you was people here before slavery happened. Explain that. I don't understand the point of why you even bringing that up. Why? Why are you bringing that up? It is irrelevant to what he's talking about.
So you immigrated to America?
No, I was born here.
Someone immigrated to America in your family, right?
Nigga, you was here before here? You a Native American? Are you a Native American? Are you a Native American? Are you a Native American, bro? What the bummer clock?
Okay.
Do Jamaicans have a culture?
Yeah.
What's Jamaican culture?
Everything, music, entertainment, their morals, values.
No. This is where I disagree. If you're not a Rastafari, if you're not a Rastafarian, you have British culture. As a Jamaican, you are British. You the culture of the colonials, the people who colonized and enslaved you. If you're not Rastafari, period, you are the culture of the colonial enslavers. Period. That's your culture. That's Jamaican culture. That's what Jamaica is. That's what the whole Caribbean is. Colonizers, right? And it, my nigga, I'm not saying there's something wrong with it. I'm just saying it's not your culture as a black. It don't go back to your DNA. Your DNA is your DNA. That's where you know your culture from. Yo, listen. I'm from before they enslaved me and brought me here. This is my culture. Right? After slavery, this is the culture I live now. And it's cool. Ain't no problem with that. I believe in socialism. I know I don't believe I don't believe in socialism. I believe in capitalism to a certain extent, as long as it's morally, logically, ethically, you know what I mean? But my culture, I'm a Christian. That's my culture. Child of God. I believe in Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins. That's my culture, Bridget. All right.
Use religion, their customs.
So if I went to Jamaica,
traditional definition of culture. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I went to Jamaica and start saying that Jamaicans have no culture, would that be a disrespectful act, or am I furthering a conversation?
You're furthering a conversation. Don't be trying to be passive aggressive, bro. You trying to be passive aggressive. That's what you're trying to do. You're furthering a conversation, and which would be true. Jamaicans do have a culture, it's British culture. Right? But the Rastafarians who really tapped in.
I think depending on the context of the conversation, yeah, you're going to have people who could take disrespect to it. But what I'm talking about is the context of the conversation, right? So if you have a person on a panel, you have people on a panel, and they agreed to have a conversation. Intellects decided to have a conversation. And one person is arguing his points and the other person is arguing their points. I don't see what the issue is. if their intellect's having an intellectual, if the conversation was brought up in a college at a university, I don't understand what the problem is. You could take offense to it, but it's a conversation.
You know, it's funny.
So as long as disrespect is from an academic lens, it's okay.
Disrespect, like, yo, low self-esteem. This is a character trait, you know. This is a character. I'm sorry, this is the trait of this is a characteristic of your culture. Low self-esteem. And that's not, I mean, it was brought to me by an African American. You know, questioning anything, questioning how we act or what we believe, what we choose to believe in, right? How we move, what we do. Oh, if we're not doing music, like I don't choose to do music. Oh, I don't rap, play basketball, or sing. I don't do none of the typical things that you would consider black. So therefore, I'm not black. Right? So is black not my skin or black is my culture? I'm confused. Because I've heard people say that Africans are not black. You're right. Africans are not black. Right? If it's based upon culture, you're right. Because the culture is not black. The culture itself that you say I'm a black person. The culture, I don't live by your culture. I don't do the things you do, so I'm not black. So wait, does blackness depend on my skin complexion or depend on how I'm living? Yeah, because that's the basically what he's trying to. That's the road he's trying to go down. That's the road he's trying to go down, and it's so ignorant. It's so you're imbecile to believe that all black people are the same, and there's only one way to act black. And basically, what you're saying is the only way to be black is act like a white man, a white culture, because the urban culture that you deem necessary to be black is not it's not of black people. You're not a Rastafarian, right? And Rastafarian culture, I would say, is more culturally traditional of black people and how black people act, some people. But you don't act like a Rastafarian, so you're not black.
I didn't say that. What I'm saying is, if you have,
crazy,
just for example, if you have multiple people who come up on a panel and say, we're going to have a conversation about this, you're freely able to do that. Like, I don't understand what's the issue with them having a conversation?
You know what? You know why this is an issue? Because this feels like this is only something that's unique to us. I don't see anybody getting on a panel or going into a classroom or going on a stage and discussing whether Jamaicans have a culture or not. That's not something that happens to y'all. So I can see why you would sit here and be like, well,
victim mentality, low self-esteem, not addressing the point, not critical thinking. And it's just he's about to diverge into I'm the victim because I'm an African American. When realistically, the difficult questions that need to be asked, right? Before reparations, before you get any before you identify the problems, right? You have to know that you're like if you're alcoholic, you got to say, listen, I'm an alcoholic because I do A, B, C, and D. But you about to just wear it. You about to wear the whole victim hat. Oh, I'm a victim. And we unique. Nobody asks us any questions. We unique in our stance. We unique in our ways. Like, nobody talk to us and ask us anything about being black. You claim it. You say you're a foundational Black American. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means really that your history starts as slavery when that is false. You saying a black man only go back 400 years? So how is Jesus black? How is Jesus Christ black? If your history starts at slavery, it don't even make no sense, man.
Think that might go down well, but it's never happened. It only seems like something that's been happening to us. People getting on the stage trying to have a intellectual conversation about whether we have a culture or not.
Why the F would you put intellectual in quotes, air quotes? Intellectual, because you were trying to have an intellect. You acting like a white liberal. Black rednecks, white liberals are hand in hand. It doesn't, nothing they do or say makes any logical sense. But this video is too long. I'm about to wrap it up, and I'll probably come with part 2 of it. Thank you for taking your time. Thank you for coming my page and checking me out. God bless y'all. Good night.